everybody, Karis here, and happy new moon. I'll show you this cool spot I found. Flowers actually led me to it. Sometimes when I'm hiking or walking out in nature and I see random flowers along the way, they kind of act like road signs for me. It's just one of my particular things that I use. So there are these rocks that are kind of set up like an easy chair right here where I am, which is super fun and cool. And the day I found them, I was really kind of needing to escape and have some time in nature by myself, and then I was shown these and I thought to myself, wow, I could come out here and meditate, or not even necessarily meditate, just read a book or something, and it would still be really cool. Anyway, so this video is about the new moon. Here in California, it happens a little bit before noon today, which is March 11th. And so for you on the East Coast, it'll be a little before 3, so about 5 minutes before. So this is the way that new moons and full moons work. Like the tides in the ocean, when the moon is full, the tides are up, they're high, and the water molecules are separate because there's not actually more water there, but the tide is high, the water level is higher, and it's because something about what's going on the energy of the earth, and I don't know if it's caused by the moon or if it's just a correlation. When the moon looks full, this happens, because who can say what's causing it? Anyway, and some people say the gravitational pull of the moon, but I don't know if that's necessarily true because I just don't know when the moon is closest and furthest away from Earth. So I really don't know if that's the case at all. It might be a fallacy, but I'm not saying it either way. Anyway, so the water is pulled up, and there are more spaces between the water molecules, so there's more space for them to move and be kind of chaotic, but also much more energetic, just like the energy around. And so anyone who works in an emergency room or in a psych unit will tell you that on the full moon, things are crazy. People get weirdo injuries. People who already have issues with their mental and emotional stability get very much less balanced than they ordinarily are. So when the moon is new or dark moon, which means you can't see it, that's when the energy is down and low. So there's this constant wave of energy coming in, full moon, out, new moon, in, full moon, out, new moon. So a beautiful way that you can, one, kind of surf on this energy and get stuff you want to manifest through using the power of intention and thought, and two, just be constantly participating in your own life by taking stock of things if you don't necessarily believe in the whole power of intention stuff, is by every time there's a new moon or a full moon, taking stock of what's going on, seeing what you want, seeing what you don't want, and acting accordingly. So since the energy is out in the new moon, you can do two things. One, if you do your ritual or your intention setting moment right before the new moon or at the moment of the new moon, the energy is really far out, so you're kind of tossing out what you don't want. And this is all just about your intention, because I'm going to tell you something right now that might seem to be contradictory, but it's actually not, is that if at the moment of the new moon or right after the moon is new, so when it's waxing again and becoming full and bringing that energy back up, you set up what you do want and kind of release that into the field of consciousness that's everywhere, then that means that as the tide comes in, as molecules separate, as there's more room for chaos and manifestation and creation, then it's like planting a seed. And as that tide rolls back in of energy, or as things get grown and brought up, then what you wanted was going to come in. I often say that if the energy is going to come in anyway, and if things are going to happen anyway, they might as well be things that you want. And I personally have seen some really amazing things happen as a result of moon rituals. And also, I've known lots of people who've had crazy things happen too. So since today is the new moon, now's the time to both mention what you don't want anymore and mention what you want to manifest over the next 2 weeks. Same thing with the full moon. If you say what you do want, that energy's high and you can kind of scoop it up in handfuls and toss it to what you'd like to manifest. But also, if you say what you don't want, the tide is going out over the following 2 weeks. So it's like tossing something into the tide when it's in and then taking it away from you. So an experience that you want to graduate from, or a lesson that you want to be able to learn and not have to repeat if it's unpleasant or challenging. And that's also not talking about spiritual bypass. That's talking about wanting to get through something so you can graduate from it, not wanting to send something away or be in denial about it. So now this is a really special new moon today because spring is coming, and it's going to be right after Ostara, which is the first day of spring, which is this year, I believe, March 20th. So it's coming, and it's going to be while the moon's still waxing. And the full moon is, I believe, on the 27th, I think. Yeah, March 27th. So all of this building energy is building up for the return of spring. And where I live, you can see that there are already flowers blooming and stuff, and things are turning green, but that's because I'm in a warmer climate. So those of you in cooler climates, it's definitely still building up and going to happen soon. So this is just a reminder to jump on this. You might not see this before the actual moment of the new moon, and if that's the case, that's okay. For about a day and a half to 3 days on either side of any moon phase, you can still access that energy. Of course, it's strongest at the peak, but it still exists, and there's no reason to not use it, experiment, and see. Keep a notebook of intentions that you put in, and so you can go back and see how many of them happened. And of course, the way that you do it is acknowledging that you're in a sacred space, and you can do something, more earth religion-y or witchy and cast a whole circle and call in the directions and stuff like that if you want to. It's a pretty easy thing to look up, but I find that you don't have to in order to use it at all. It's just what you feel called to do. I mean, some people resonate with that. Personally, I like to do it, but I'll be honest, I don't do it every month. I don't even do it almost every month, so that just goes to show how, responsible I am about going the full throttle each time. Anyway, so you can declare that you're in sacred space, and that's just in your mind. Say everything I say right now is fully from the heart. Get really authentic. Maybe meditate, balance your chakras if you know how to do that, and then really picture the things you want to manifest one way or the other. And then once you've got them full, release them. Tell the universe to make it better than you can imagine. If you've missed anything, fill in details in ways that are great. Sponsor your evolution. And if something is better than you can imagine instead of what you've asked for, go ahead and invite that in, but specify in a way that's gentle, not super disruptive in your life as much as possible, and a way that feels really good. Because change is great. Everybody loves change if it's better, if it feels good. People don't like change because they're afraid of what they might lose, but if the change comes in and as it's coming it feels great, then no, change isn't scary at all, even for the people who really have issues with it. So anyway, that's what's going on today. I hope that you're all doing very well. Happy new moon. This one feels really intense. Been really intense energy this past week. Interesting things with food, digestive systems for a lot of people I know. Weird food poisoning-ish symptoms for no reason, which I had too. Lots of just kind of strange things. So I'm thinking that that's kind of past, and with the moon waxing now, it's going to bring in some cool stuff. Whatever it is that causes the energy to shift. Anyway, much love. Go in peace. I'll talk to you guys again very soon.